Now, fuel scarcity is a familiar challenge for many Nigerians, yet it continues to disrupt daily life. With increased fuel prices, commuters and residents must think twice before leaving their homes. Many filling stations are closed, while those still operating have long queues, forcing people to wait hours for petrol. While some blame the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, that's the NNPCL, for the shortage, the government has warned filling stations against fuel hoarding. Joining us via Zoom is Adeola Yusuf, team lead at Platforms Africa, to shed more light on this issue. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. If you look at the papers this morning, the matter of the fuel scarcity is featuring prominently, just as it did yesterday and in recent times. Many Nigerians have been complaining that a country like ours, where we pride ourselves as having a huge deposit of crude, we are still seeing this matter of fuel queues. But now there's the matter of the blame game. There are those blaming the NNPCL, and there are those who are saying perhaps it is a matter of some underlying issues that are coming to play. That's why we are seeing this matter of fuel queues. Talk to us. What do you know about what is going on?
Okay, thank you very much. To start with, it is not always, a thing that is so sweet to heart that oftentimes we talk about, crisis in Nigeria. This is a country that is producing, as the last count, over 1.5 million barrels of crude daily. Is a country that, prides itself as the giant of Africa and so on and so forth. It's a member of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. And, it's so disheartening to note that almost always we talk about crisis in the fuel supply value chain. Having said that, there are two causes to this fuel crisis. Number one is the systemic cause. The number two is the cost that you can see as the present cost for the fuel crisis. We have heard from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, reason given for this. One of the officials of the company talked about the blockage of Escrabo. Mr. Olufemi Shoneye, urged Nigerians that, okay, there's no need to panic buy because there is availability of the products. It's only that, there is a hit in the supply value chain. But the systemic cause for this, and just like you have alluded to it, we have been having blame game. The marketers have been coming to say something, other people have been coming to say something, and that has always been the stock in trade. We've always been having that trajectory anytime there is that crisis. Now, to talk about systemic cause, remember that Nigeria, as a country that is producing crude oil, doesn't, as we speak now, doesn't have a refinery that is producing premium motor spirit as we speak. The Dangote refinery that people may want to talk about has not started producing premium motor spirit, which is petrol. Now, the four refineries that Nigeria have not started producing. We have had promises from the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited that this will be put in place, and we want to Nigerians that are optimistic want to believe that will come to pass. But up to this moment you are talking about now, no major refinery in Nigeria is producing premium motor. So what do we do? As a country, we are depending on importation of the critical product, to feed over 200 million, over 200 million people. So this is a systemic problem. Remember that we have said it often times. When refineries in Nigeria, when forefathers of Nigeria, because I keep repeating it, when they put refineries in place in Nigeria, 445,000 barrels, capacity refinery, they have made allocation that every day, 445,000 being the capacity of those refineries should be given for the local consumption. What this will mean is that the local refineries will have this same, product value, and they will be refining it. If this is in play, you will know that there won't be this issue. We are producing this product in Nigeria, and we have refineries in Nigeria. The only thing we need to do is take those products to the refineries, refine, and take them, to be supplied to Nigerians. So this is a systemic problem, but we want to be, as the NNPC has said, the refineries will come on board. The Dangote refinery said it will start producing petrol, once the issue of crude oil supply is settled. We all believe as set to be settled by 1st of October.
Yeah.
I think that's a systemic issue. But until we tackle that matter from its roots, remember, if there is a fire outbreak and you want to extinguish the fire, the best approach to that is to ensure that you tackle it from the roots. So once that is in place, let's just be optimistic. The next one, which I want to quickly talk about, is there is this trust deficit in the Nigerian that I've observed as an observer of this industry. There's this trust deficit in the fuel supply between the marketers and the buyer. Let me explain that. Most times, if a marketer in a filling station suddenly discovers that, unlike the day before, he has more, motorists queuing up to buy fuel, what he's likely to do is to either adjust the pump, to profiteer, or to close his shop, or to call other, marketer to say, okay, what is happening? I see more people today. What is happening? Now that's the one. Then number two, on the flip side of it, if Nigerians, we consumers, anytime we are driving, we are on maybe half tank, and we see 2, 3, 4, 5 vehicles queue up in the police station. Most times we should, because just before that we have that half tank, we'll quickly go and queue, that is what they define as panic buying. With panic buying, with profiteering, if those ones are not in place, I think this matter will not get as far as it is. But generally speaking, the NNPC has promised that they are working on their refineries to make sure that the refineries are back in place to start producing petrol. And the Dangote refinery said to start the production of petrol. The NNPC has said supply will be back to normal in few COP. And I think we want to believe that while we have apportioned the responsibilities to everybody, it's important to note too that maybe based on the trust deficit in the industry, Nigerians too should exercise patience every time, because panic buying to contribute to that. And I can assure you, the marketers too have a lot of roles to play too, because anytime there is this issue of a hiccup in the supply chain, they usually profit. And at the end of the day, it's setting Nigerians against Nigeria. And I think that has to be well put in place and addressed.
All right, so it's good that you touched on so many things, because the NNPCL that tried to offer explanation, apart from the supply disruptions, he also blamed weather-related issues, and then warned Nigerians against panic buying, which you've also spoken to. But if you look at let's look at the broader view of the things going on around the fuel supply and the attendant scarcity we're experiencing. Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar tackled the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over the allegation that the government is still paying subsidies, and there is a report that the president has approved the payment of subsidies for the petroleum industry. Do you think that this is something that we are now reverting to, despite the call or the agitation before this administration that fuel subsidy has to be removed, and then it was removed, and then we are facing what we are facing, and then it now looks like, according to reports, we're going back there? How does that sound to you?
Okay, thank you very much, and that is a very critical point to raise. We call it the Eagle Square Declaration, or first subsidy is gone forever. And before that declaration, a lot of people have been expecting the president to remove subsidy, because this is a cardinal part of his, campaign promise. Remember that it's not even only the president that made that promise. All the major presidential candidates, the three of them, made the promise to remove subsidy. A lot of discourse have been going on around the timing of the removal of the subsidy president. But a fact has to be established. Everyone, and when I talk about everyone, I mean even the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar said during his campaign that he will remove subsidy. That's the first. Now the president has removed subsidy. Is there anything like subsidy again in the system? To be very fair, I think it's an issue of semantics. The NNPC will call it, they will call it under recovery. People may call it so many other names. But part of the matter is that the definition we are giving to subsidy, which means, trying to ensure a balance between the original price and the market price, is still in play. Well, the president or the NMC may call it, different names. Remember, I think a few hours ago, the NMC just said that what is happening is not fuel subsidy, that they are just trying to ensure that there is balance in the market and they are the one taking that responsibility. But remember that I think the CBN governor or one of the members of the government, the president's economic team, once said that there is subsidy. Once even mentioned the amount being paid on subsidy. But you people, you understand English better than me. Whether we should call it subsidy or not will be left for people that understand English like me. But fact of the matter is the price we are buying the product at the pump is not the real price we are supposed to be buying the product at the pump as we speak. Remember, we have read reports of the price of this petroleum product. It is something we can fact check. It's a product that is globally traded. Petrol, you can go to your Google and check how much is petrol today in the world. You will see. Remember news about the product's price in the UK. The price per liter of petrol is sold over 2,000 naira. In UK, if you want to do the exchange rate, in UK as we speak, people that is a global TV. People are watching from UK, people are watching from all over the world. So there's no hide and seek about this. The price that is the reflective price, the real price of the product is not the price we buy at the pump price. How this is happening will be left for the government to explain if they don't want it to cause subsidy or they want it to cause. But I want to believe that something is going on in between, and it's a fact that no one can hide away.
Interesting, and we understand that you're also trying to play safe. It's understandable. But then let's go back to the matter of tackling this issue at the root. You talked about the fact that unless we have a refinery working, we will find ourselves in this kinds of situation one time or the other. I'm wondering how we've been able to manage this issue in periods where there were no fuel queues like we have often seen, such that supply was steady, there was no panic buying, and also there was no hoarding, so to speak. What is fueling this matter? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, there are those who are saying perhaps marketers...
Sorry, I didn't get your question, please.
Right. I said that what is fueling this matter of hoarding and also the matter of panic buying? Because there were times where the supply that we have often had, as we say, or as NNPCL have said, is available, yet we do not have these queues on the ground. What did we do differently at that point that ensured that there was no panic buying, there was no hoarding, there was trust, business was moving on smoothly? And then the other question is that there are those who are saying, perhaps because the government has said that they will be selling crude to Dangote Refinery and others on the Naira basis, which should begin October the 1st. That is why marketers are being skeptical. What do you make of that as well?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start from the statement you made that I'm trying to be safe, I'm playing safe. I think what I've come to do here is to do analysis for Nigerians to take the view of what I know. And any time that I know that, a matter needs to be put to the fore for Nigerians to decide, I try to do that. And And that was exactly what I did with the question about fuel subsidy or no fuel subsidy, as the question asked by, as the issue raised by former President Atiku Abubakar. And people that are listening will know that put to the floor or to the fore, the real issues. Playing safe is not the issue here, but laying facts to the bed for people to do. That's a side. Then what we have been doing correctly when there is proper supply in the value chain that we are not doing now. To start with that one. Remember, I mentioned that the real issue behind this first supply crisis has been the systemic problem, the systemic cost. Mind you, there is no time that we keep, importing petrol. There is no time that we keep, aside from importing petrol, we keep this system, going on that will not be having that, shortfall. There will not be having issue. Remember that the issue of fuel subsidy that I used to even talk about, is one of the systemic issue, because up till this moment we are talking about now, it's still the NNPC that is still importing petrol, major importer of petrol into Nigeria. There is no, general participation of, the marketer. Now, to take that to the second question of the blame game between whether, there is that suspicion whether, the marketers are now trying to play game for Dangote Refinery. Please, I desist from answering questions that have to do with.
No, the question I asked, Adiola, is there are those who say that marketers are trying to play safe, because they do not know what the situation might look like when the government begins to sell crude to Dangote Refinery and others on the Naira basis. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's still, what we are talking about. The marketers, the only thing the marketers can do at this moment, maybe they are doing it, maybe they are not, because I have to be very explicit, is to urge the product to profiteer from the product. Remember, they don't partake actively in the importation of this product. It's what they get that they will eventually urge or profiteer of. You understand? So it is the NNPC that is still the major importer of this product. And the questions that are supposed to be posed to the NNPC about, the spanner thrown into the supply chain, the NNPC has answered the question to say that, okay, as you have just even highlighted, this and this and this and these are the reasons. So the marketers, can do what they have been accused to, do, if truly they are doing that. But I don't see the relationship between that and the Dangote Refinery. Okay, fact has been established that Dangote Refinery will get will get petrol by, that is put up by 1st of October in Naira. That one is an entirely different kettle of fish that we can even analyze. But whether that will make the marketers to now is something I doubt, because the marketers don't have the power. They don't play major role in between. The only thing they would do is to get supply. And the marketers are talking about that we need to conceptualize at the filling station. So the filling station don't have major roles to play in that balance. Only thing they need to do is to get the product, and most times the relationship they have, the relationship they have in that value chain is with the buyer. Now, the second level of the marketers are the importers, maybe the major oil marketers. Those ones are the ones that, if there's that leeway, they partake in the importation of the product and so on and so forth. The big names, I don't need to start mentioning. So if those ones, what they have been clamoring for is to ensure that there is, quality, that is balance in the system. So, and the issue of forex, they have their own complaint as to why they have not been, taking part in fuel importation. But fact remains that until our refineries start working to start producing the product, because it's important that I highlight here too, my people, that the 445,000 barrels of crude that have been allocated daily to crude oil for internal consumption of crude oil has always been taken out of the country to refineries abroad. So those things, and it's done through the direct sale, direct purchase agreement, majorly known as the cruise. So when that is taken abroad, it provides employment. It helps the currency of that country, and that will now be taken back to Nigeria. And that has the cost of oil. The product the crude oil that we produce in country is refined in country. There won't be any major issue of all this that we are having. And remember, just to round up that question, remember that before we start having that crisis, we were not exporting, we were not taking crude oil outside of the country to refine. So the clamor now should be, for everyone to support or to build the searchlight or to start the advocacy on ensuring that our refineries, are brought back to life. Our 445,000 barrels capacity refineries are brought back to life. And to ensure that the refineries, two private refineries in country, the Dangote refinery, the Watersmith refineries, all those refineries are working. And if we do that, Nigeria is going to be a country of abundance when it comes fuel supply. Like I said earlier, most times we keep talking about this, if we don't tackle the systemic issue, the root cause of all, and that is what I've just been.
I love the fact that you've been talking about our refineries coming upstream, referring to Dangote refinery and all other local refineries being revamped by the federal government. But others are saying that listen, we are only talking about refineries coming upstream, and this is not going to happen because we'll be talking about it from different administrations up until now. What exactly are the pointers that you're seeing that makes you believe that, yes, maybe this refinery will definitely, come alive? Dangote refinery is ready to start refining. It was accused of, refining, what's it called? Inferior petrol.
Substandard.
Yes, substandard petrol coming from Dangote refinery, which it denied, and
Diesel.
ordered diesel rather, and then ordered it to the federal government. Actually ordered another test, for the product that is coming out of it. What exactly are you seeing? Do you believe that there are indicators or indications rather that this refineries will definitely come alive any moment now? Because July the 11th, August, we talked about August, and now they are talking about September, October, and on and on and on. When are you seeing to this, extension of timelines given to the refineries coming upstream?
Okay, thank you. The question will best be answered by those that are working for NNPC, because they know, they are the ones that, have given the contract, they know what will happen. They have been the one, shifting the date and giving reason, so that I don't put mouth where I don't have authority. But now to talk about other issues, that are likely to come up. I agree with you, absolutely. Because Dangote refinery came up and we are having issues. Other refineries came up too and we're having issues. Because it's only Dangote refinery issue that a lot of people think is the only private refinery that has been having issue. And the major issue has been the supply of crude oil to those refineries. That is the major issue. And followed by the Nigerian factor, quote and unquote, issue. And that one is, when Nigerians now want to decide to wash their dirty linen in public, and just to take our minds, back to the back and forth between the Dangote refinery and the agencies of government. It's so disheartening. On occasions, I've said it on that and Global TV that issue is an issue that is so disheartening that is called for. Remember that there is no time any one of the parties come up to make allegation or accusation that will not affect or that has not affected the Nigerian image in the international community. It's a good thing that the president, through the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, intervened, and we see lull in that, in that scene. But fact remains that the Nigerian net, that is when a market is coming up and is having or is facing a lot of challenges. And the next thing to do is that the next thing we see, allegation and counter allegation. Fact that has been established based on what my own take home from all those back and forth is that whether it came from Dangote or it came from the NMDPR, fact remains that there is substandard diesel in the market in Nigeria. Because the same allegation made, only that accusing fingers were being pointed to one another. Remember that Dangote said the NMDPR gave licenses to importers who imported diesel, substandard diesel. NMDPR came out to say Dangote
because of our time,
substandard diesel.
Adiola, can you hear me? Because of our time, we may not be able to delve into those stories. I just want to quickly ask you this question, because you touched on it earlier, the matter of crude for Naira that will begin October the 1st with Dangote and others. How much of a difference that will make, and the dynamics that you see would play out?
Okay, thank you very much. I have been observing that development with serious interest, and I'll tell you the reason I'm observing it with serious interest. I'm one of those that believe that that step is a step that the government needs to think through very, very well before venturing into. Remember that over 80% of Nigerian foreign exchange aid, comes from crude oil. Now, if we want to, leave that aside and concentrate or focus on giving that product to Dangote refinery, Nigeria needs to think through that very, very well, so that it won't be a program that they will start and midway it is going to end and we'll go back to the drawing board of this allegation and counter allegation. That's number one. Number two, remember that Nigeria has accessed a lot of loans, international loans. Remember the $500 million, $1 billion Afrexim Bank loan out of the $1.5 billion that is being used for rehabilitation of the Port Harcourt refinery came from Afrexim Bank, and it was accepted by NNPC. What we are using to repay that loan is crude oil. So there is a lot of obligation. We remember I think if I'm not mistaken, $6 billion another Afrexim Bank loan that we are using over 90,000 barrels of crude oil daily to repay. So all those funds are obligations. So we have a lot of issues around that. This is a good thing, mind you, and we have to get me clear that Nigerians want to do this, to support his, industry internally. Is a very, very. But I tell you, there are more that government needs to think through very, very well, so that at the end of the day, that policy will not amount to another, equal square declaration that subsidy is gone forever. That at the end of the day, we are still having, subsidy in the market. Government needs to think through that very, very well.
Right. We'll have to leave the conversation here, but we must thank you for your time. Adiola Yusuf, Team Lead Platforms Africa. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Right. Still ahead on TVC Breakfast, political economist Pat Utomi and former governor of Ogun State Ibikunle Amosun trade words over recent seizure of the presidential jet.